Speaking of throwing up, I just caught over 500 pounds of yellowfin tuna off the shore of Ocean City, Maryland. This week.
This past week.
Like Monday.
What a way to start a week, dude. A Monday?
Every Monday can never be topped now. Like, I need to keep upping the ante every Monday.
So you went out, you went fishing.
On July 18th, 2022, my dad and I, along with our boys Steve, Alan, Mike, and Carrie, left the shores of Ocean City, Maryland at 3:45 a.m. aboard the Boss Hog to travel 60 miles offshore in hopes of catching yellowfin tuna. After an hour-and-a-half trip out and 45 minutes of inhaling diesel fuel and cutting butterfish in quarters with scissors, the screaming sound of a fishing line shot off, and everyone yelled the two words you want to hear most on a fishing trip: fish on. Over the course of the next 7 hours, we'd hear that familiar scream and those two incredible words 9 more times. After plenty of ham and Swiss on rye with spicy mustard, nutty buddies, natty bows, gnarly gaffs, and tuna blood, we would embark back to Sunset Marina with 10 yellowfin tuna, totaling 520 pounds. This was personally my first time offshore fishing, and needless to say, I'm hooked. Pun fully intended.
So you did like what everyone dreams they can do to start off the week. It's just like you're like you know what, we're not gonna do it on a Saturday, we're not gonna do it on Friday, not Sundays. We're going balls deep on a Monday.
We're going at 3:15 in the morning.
That's what time
Monday morning.
You left the dock?
That's what time we got to the dock. We left at 3:45.
2:45.
3:45.
3:45.
We got to the dock at 3:15. I had to wake up at 2:30. So here's
okay. So what sparked this? How did this all happen? Who brought this trip upon you?
A couple months ago, Pops texted me and he was like, "Hey man, we're going offshore fishing in what is this month? July?"
Yep.
He was like, "We're going offshore fishing in July. Let me know some dates that work for you." And I was like, "Bro, every Monday works for me, no matter what."
Yeah.
So he was like, "Okay, we'll set it up on a Monday." This is probably back in March, maybe.
Right.
So I've been stoked on this all year. Like, this is what I've been looking forward to.
That's tight.
All the shows, whatever. Like, that, I was like, because growing up, my dad and all his buddies always went offshore fishing. They had the boats, they had all the tackle, they did it all themselves. You know, they'd come home with like 1 or 2 tuna and be pumped. Yeah. Like, yo, that's awesome. And then, they're all in their 60s now, so they're getting close to retirement. Every one of them sold off their boat, sold or gave away all their gear, and now they're just hiring charters. Because that's the way to fish. They put you on the fish, and then like they do all the work for you, and you just get to like enjoy the journey or the glory of like pulling that sea beast in.
Big ass bastard in.
Yeah.
like a regular tuna? Like how much did it weigh? Like how much? Like,
well,
like 60 pounds?
Each one, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Okay. But yeah, every single one that we caught was well over 50 pounds. Dude. So my pops hit me up about this. Yeah. I've been stoked about this all year long. It finally gets to the day. We head down Sunday.
Right.
Now, we were supposed to leave at 8 a.m.
On Sunday.
Sunday morning, 8 a.m. My dad texted me the day before, and he's like, hey, bud, offshore reports looking a little dicey. Trip may be postponed. And I'm just like sink. I'm
Dude.
So I'm like, all right, man, just let me know. That's Saturday. Sunday morning comes around. I still wake up at 8. I'm like, because I'm checking the offshore report, and it was sunny all day with scattered thunderstorms. The thing was that the swells were like between 6 to 10 feet, and the wind was 15 to 25 knots.
That's a lot.
That is way too much for like just regular boys going out on a boat. My dad was like, best case scenario, swells are 3 to 5 feet and winds are like 5 to 10. Like, that's perfect. That's a perfect day of fishing. Sunny all day, blah, blah, blah. Now, tuna like rough waters. They can't see as well. So, like, you know, any light reflection off of a piece of bait or just a lure if you're trolling, that gets their attention, and they go after it. Right. They like when it's rough. They ride the waves in to get the fish and everything like that. So my dad's boy, Mr. Mike, shouts out Mike Gombert.
Shout him out.
He was texting my dad, and he was like, look, man, this boat can handle that. Like, we have to go out. The tuna are biting. And my dad's like, okay, like, we're going. But they're still talking to the captain. So 8 a.m. Sunday morning, my dad's like, we'll hear from the captain at 12 p.m. 12. So I'm just sitting at my house.
Just and like what are we doing?
Staring at the wall.
Yeah.
So then, like, until noon comes around, I'm like 6. So I text my dad. He's like, looking like 1 p.m. And I'm like, okay. 1 p.m. comes around. He's like, I'll call you at 3. And I was like, okay.
Damn.
3 p.m. rolls around. He goes, we're gonna head out. Get to my house ASAP. Let's go. And I was like, let's go. You know what I mean? Dude. I'm like, fuck, it's happening. So we jump in the whip, head down to Ocean City, meet up with our boys, Mr. Allen and Steve Fritch. Shout out to the Fritches. And we're staying at their spot on 14th Street. And we go to this bar at the marina that we're leaving from in the morning called Teasers.
Nice.
The marina is Sunset Marina. It's like the nicest. Dude, the fucking boats at this marina, there's got to be $300 million of boats just like on one like it's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where they like weigh in for the White Marlin Open.
So you're down by the inlet.
Yes, we're like a quarter mile from the inlet.
Gotcha.
That's why this spot is tight, because you can just, like, when you're going fishing out of there, you hop on a boat, you're immediately in the inlet, which is a whole thing to get through.
Yeah.
And then you're basically out there. So we get to the spot Teasers, and we're like, my dad was like, hey, bud, I'm speaking from experience. Do not get drunk the night before we go offshore fishing. And I was like, I won't get too drunk.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And this is probably, we get down there at like 6 p.m. We get to dinner by 7. And immediately, fucking Mr. Al orders like a Manhattan. Steve orders an Orange Crush. My pops orders a Dewar's straight up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you have any Natty Bow? And the girl's like, yeah. And she brings me a Natty Light. And I was like, it's fine. Yeah. Everyone was like, that's not what he asked for. I was like, dude, they obviously don't have Natty Bows. It's totally fine.
And she was probably 18.
Yeah, exactly.
She doesn't know anything.
No, she was like, that's what we have, whatever. And I was like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I know how to handle it. But we're out with boomers. I love my dad and Mr. Al, but like, they're they're that
not
old.
Paying for it.
Well, this gets good because they're that like old school, like making dad jokes at the end of the meal type thing.
Yeah.
So anyways, we get like, I get a pound of shrimp, like 12 wings. We're all eating good. We're drinking, we're partying.
Fuck yeah.
And we get another round, and then when we finish all of our food, the waitress comes back up again, and she's like, how was everything? And my dad, he's like, oh, it was terrible, like with an empty plate.
Oh yeah, he's like, oh yeah, no one liked it.
Yeah, and he goes, we'll have another round of everything. And I was like, I just sat back, and I was like, all right, bud, let's see how this backfires on you. Obviously, he said it as a joke.
Yeah,
my boy's not too good at sarcasm, so it kind of could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Plus, you're at a marina bar in Ocean City. The tab's already probably 200 bones. Right. Like, she's like, her eyes just light up as dollar signs. She's like, I'm gonna teach this boomer a lesson. So I see her walking down the stairs. We're sitting outside. She comes down the stairs with a Natty Light and whatever. I think Steve was drinking Miller Lite, and I was like, oh, like it's happening.
Yeah.
She puts it in front of me, puts it in front of Steve. Then comes down. At this point, my dad's drinking red wine, so she comes down with a carafe of red wine and another Manhattan for Mr. Allen, and she like puts it on the table. And my dad's like he starts seeing what's going on, and he's like, whoa, I was kidding. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry, and just dips. And my dad's like, and Steve and I are geeking out. I was like, bro, you're kind of a fucking idiot. Yeah. And Mr. Allen's pissed. He's like, Pat, you dumb shit. What the fuck? Like, he was like, I said I only wanted one Manhattan. So,
did a one Manhattan dinner.
Yeah, exactly. So Mr. Allen's like, he's like, you guys need to drink this. So Steve and I drank the Manhattan. My dad, I was like, Dad, do you need help with the wine? He's like, no, I'm gonna drink it.
I'm a dad.
Yeah, but he was like, I'm gonna talk to the. He was like, I want to talk to the manager. To me, as a joke. And I was like, bro, if you call the manager over, that dude's gonna be like, well, sir, did you order this round?
Oh, it would have been. I thought because if I were the waitress, I would have been a bitch off the bat. Instead of another round of everything, I would have brought out
everything.
The same food too.
Yeah.
Like just to be like, you ordered it all.
Yeah.
And just be like, yeah, you gotta pay it.
Now that would have been
been so crucial. If she came out with more shrimp. Just like, what the is it? Bottomless shrimp?
The bill ends up being as expensive as it is to go fishing. You're like.
So like, dude, you gotta say, dude. Some people don't get sarcasm, and some people like.
Some people are just bad.
Get paid for, man.
Some people are bad at sarcasm.
That's hilarious.
My father is one of them.
That's hilarious.
But he really did. He was like, another round of everything. Like obviously joking.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude,
that's what happens.
Let that be known to all you people
Learn
out there.
A lesson.
Like, don't, because you're at the end of the day, you're with the waitress's money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so of course she's gonna be like, oh, this guy.
Yeah.
And throw another round of drinks. She could have very easily put another round of everything.
Yeah.
More seared ahi, another pound of shrimp, 2 pounds of wings come out, and whatever I think Steve got like mahi fingers. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And just be like,
dude, man, like, you got a to-go box.
Exactly. So we finished that last round of drinks. I'm like, Pops, you good to drive? He's like, yeah, I guess so. And then we get in the car. Mr. Allen's like, Pat, you're a idiot, you know, which is so tight to see like my dad's like older friends fry.
Yeah, fry
because you can't like fry your pots, but like his friends can.
That's tight.
So it's so funny to see that. Like, so then we get back to the house. We have another drink before we hit the bed. Start sucking down cigars, and I'm like sharing a room with my dad, which I haven't done since like hotel rooms when I'm a baby boy. Mm-hmm. You know, Dad's got to wake up to like piss in the middle of the night, and I'm like trying to like cover my ears. He's like, "Come on, just a little piss, bud." You know?
Just talking it down.
Yeah, he's like, "Come on." I'm like, "These boys are getting old, man."
Yeah.
So I think I fell asleep at like 11, I think, which is the earliest I've been to bed. Like I usually get. He was like, "We're waking up at 2:30." I was like, "Bro, I'm usually leaving the bars at 2:30." Right. And he's like, "Wow." And I think I get like I kind of fall asleep, and then my alarm goes off at like 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, "Where the am I?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Come on, bud, we gotta go." I'm queasy. I'm not like hungover because I did take it easy, but I'm like, it's 2:30.
That weird
wake. Like when you wake up from a nap, you feel like heavy, and like slow, and you're like, "Oh my god!" And all I can taste is wings. And we hit like a Rofo and get Krispy Kreme donuts and like coffee. And my dad's like, "All you can taste is wings, bud. Like this is gonna suck for you." And I was like, "I'll get through it, man. Like I'm good." And I'm like chugging glazed donuts so that I can just get rid of the taste. Yeah, and I'm like, I'll be fine. Then we meet up with our boy Mike and his stepson Carrie at the Sunset Marina at like 3:15, and then the captains aren't there till 3:45. And Mr. Allen's like, "Why the fuck are we here now?"
What are you waiting for?
I kind of was like the same. I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
I tried to go take a shit and like couldn't.
Yeah.
And then my dad was like, "All right, I'm gonna go try." And then the captains get there. And they jump on the boat and immediately start, like, the first mate starts cutting up bait. And these dudes are tight. This dude, Captain Alex, and first mate John, they're like 30, 33. And I was like, oh, we're going out with, like, boys. So I was like, okay, tight. And we're on a 62-foot, like, one of those big saltwater fishing boats. And I was like, all right, this is going to be psychedelic. So my dad's trying to take he gets out, and I'm like, did it work for you? And he's like, no. And I was like, what do we do when we're out there? He's like, you just figure it out. I was like, all right. So we pop a couple Dramamine, which I swear by, I'm about to start taking Dramamine on the daily because immediately there was like a weird 10-minute come up
Yeah.
Like I took like some sort of drug where all of a sudden everything inside of me kind of equalized. I think I tend to like lean to the right a little bit.
Okay.
But everything equalized on the ride out. Now we get on the boat, and the bait fumes are already like in the diesel fumes.
This is exactly why you don't drink a lot.
Exactly. And my dad was like, bro, I'm speaking from experience. Like I've been hungover on a trip out, and it's not good. Like you ruined your whole experience. So I'm sitting there. We leave the pier. We get out into the inlet. Now the waves in the inlet are gnarly.
Yeah.
Like right off the bat. And it's almost 4 a.m. and I'm just still feeling it. And luckily the Dramamine's kicking in, and we're like going out, and I look at my dad. We're all sitting outside. I was like, he told me to limit my time in the cabin as much as possible. And the cabin's nice. Yeah. It's air conditioned. There's like television in it. Like it's cool. But he was like, you don't want to spend a lot of time in the cabin because you will notice when you're sitting on the back of the boat looking behind you, all you see is the wake. You don't see this motion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're like just used to it. It's like a sensory thing. Yes. So you're watching it, you're visualizing it. But if you're in like a closed quarters, I mean, there's windows.
Yes.
Then you start to notice everything. Like, why is it's like you're on acid? You're like, why is everything moving?
But I'm sitting out there and I'm watching the. Oh no! I asked my pops. I was like, "Hey man, what do I do if I get seasick? Like, do I hand you my glasses and my hat and like the boat? Because I know the boat doesn't stop. And like, do you hold like my pants while I puke over the side of the boat while we're going 30 knots? And he just looks at me dead in the eyes, and he goes, "You'll be fine. You're not getting seasick." And I go, "All right." And immediately I was good. I was like, okay.
You're like, I can't.
Yeah, I was like, okay. I'm not gonna get sick.
Because you're gonna hold my pants. Your dad was basically like, I recommend you stop being such a pussy.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
And just
he was like,
like
man
a
up,
fucking champion. That's tight.
He was like, you're a fucking fisherman, bud.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah. It's like, if you throw up on this trip, guess what? I don't know you.
Yeah. I just showed you. So we get through the inlet, and it's so trippy. So, but it's like dark outside. Dude, I'm telling you, when we left the condo, people are outside of bars.
Yeah.
Like the only people out at 2:30 a.m. Steve said in Ocean City are drunks and fishermen, and I was like, I want to be the fisherman.
I want to be a drunk fisherman.
I want to be a drunk fisherman. So, I'm telling you, the boardwalk is still lit up.
Yeah,
like the Ferris wheel is going.
Yeah.
So to leave, and when you're sitting on a boat leaving dry land to head 60 miles offshore, and you're watching the land disappear over the horizon, that's when things start kind of kicking in. And I was sitting there having almost like a psychedelic experience. I was like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
And like everyone's quiet. Like everyone's like, dude, I mean, like
the implications are there.
Yeah, dude, the implications 100% are there. And the implication in this case is death. Yeah. It's like, dude, you could die out
here. You're going to die.
No matter what. You're
like, you're not surviving.
Yeah.
There's big fish in there.
So I asked my dad, I was like, how long does it take until we can't see land anymore? And he said, we're about to see. And I was like, oh, shit.
Dude, what an answer, dude.
I know.
What an answer. I love that.
I know. So then all of a sudden, all the land disappears, and you're still going out there. And then the sun starts rising, and it's gorgeous to see a sunset
makes
like
you feel
that.
Really small, doesn't it?
Oh, my God.
Like so insignificant.
But at the same time, like an adventurer.
Yeah.
I kept telling myself, I was like, dude, this is what you signed up for. Because I get anxious. And I was like, this is what you signed up for. It like... I always wanted to do it when I was a little kid, but never really like ballsed up to do it. Also, my boys were going out on like 30-foot boats, not like we were going on a double boat, what they used to go out on, like center consoles and shit. I was like, where do you go?
No, like, if you hit those waves, like getting in the inlet, you would have sunk the boat.
Well, that was the thing. Once we got out there, my dad, I was like, bro, this is kind of rough, but the boat like handles it well.
Right.
And my dad was like, yeah, man, we would never go out in these conditions on our boats. Like,
no.
That's a death wish.
Yeah.
So we get out there. And it was so funny. We like once the boat started slowing down, like everyone's like, "We're here," and I was like, "Oh shit, this is tight." It took like an hour and a half of just cruising.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how long does it take? So it took about an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. You're going 30 knots, which is 32 miles per hour, and you're going 60 miles offshore. So like an hour and a half.
Honestly, that seems like not that bad. Honestly,
no, dude, no,
like,
not
that's
at all.
pretty quick. I thought it would be like, it's like you're out on the boat for what, like maybe 8 hours, and 4 hours of it you're driving out there. That's cool. Actually, that's not bad.
Yeah, and we went to a spot called the Ham Bone.
Tight.
Yeah,
I'm a boy. I love ham bones.
There's a ham bone and a hot dog. And then there's something called the canyons. Now, we were originally supposed to go to the canyons, which is like a 2.5, 3 hour trip.
That's a lot.
In rough waters, and apparently, like, the fishing really wasn't that good out of the canyons.
Okay.
So my dad was like, hey, bud, unfortunately, we're not going to the canyons, which it's called Poor Man's Canyons, which is tight. All the names for, like, these reefs and shit, it's just tight. He was like, we're going to the Hambone, the fishing's better, and it's closer. And I just kept going. I was like, that's a win-win situation.
Yeah, like, what's wrong with all that? Everything you just said sounds great.
Well, apparently, out of the canyons, like, I mean, you see whales, you see sea turtles.
That's crazy.
Like, yeah, you see, like, shit.
You don't even realize. Well, you're like, when you're on the beach at Ocean City, you're like, there's nothing out there.
If you see one dolphin, everyone's like, oh!
Yeah.
Like,
if I saw a whale, I would have been like, what? Or a sea turtle even?
Yeah. Well, this story just keeps going. Yeah. We saw some shit out there.
Yeah.
Like UFOs. We get out to the spot, and what we did is called chunking. So there's chunking and there's trolling. Trolling's when you see the boats with the big outriggers.
Yeah, and the line tows behind.
Yeah, and they put lures and they just go like a cool like 10 miles per hour. You hopefully attract fish. Now chunking, one boy sits there with a bucket, just a bucket.
Yeah.
Another boy sits there with a shitload of butterfish or just whatever bait you're using and a pair of scissors, and you just cut it into pieces.
Tight.
And you sit at the back of the boat because you have to throw it off the back of the boat, and that's where all the diesel fumes are. So I was like, I want to be a fisherman. I'll be the bait boy.
I'm chunking.
So I'm sitting there, and you have a spoon.
Yeah.
And you just pull out like 3 pieces at a time, and every 40 seconds, you throw it off the back of the boat. We did that for about 45 minutes while the captain and the mate, like, they take 2 rods and reels. They put like a fish head on the end of a hook, and these hooks, bro, they were like an inch big. They were small, and I was like,
really?
Yeah. They were really small.
Oh, I thought you were gonna be like, they're huge.
No, they were this big.
Okay.
I mean, they're bigger than, like, you know, if you go out fishing off a pier in the bay. But they were like, and my dad was like, well, I've never seen like hooks these small for tuna fishing. And for like the first like 4 to 5, because you're not casting, but you drop the bait off the side of the boat and then just like just kind of let it drift with the current.
Yeah.
And the first like 4 times that the captain and the mate did this, the lines got tangled, so they'd have to pull it in and untangle, like cut the line. Yeah. And I was kind of like getting discouraged.
You're like, oh, these guys suck at this game.
Well, I was like, dude, straight up. And on the radio, you can hear the radio from other captains that are going out. They're like, yeah, like, you know, we got skunked the other day. And I was like, oh, dude, we got scammed.
That might be the best idea.
Well, there are definitely charters that do scam, but I had faith. Yeah. We were on a boat called the Boss Hog, and the minute that I saw the name of this boat, I was like, we're fucking catching fish. Oh, yeah. I didn't have a single thought in my head that we weren't going to catch fish until we get out there. And you're because I've been skunked before, not offshore. This is my first time offshore, but I've been skunked before, and it sucks. That's why when you were doing your ice fishing story, I was like, fishing sucks. I love fishing. Yeah. I always have my entire life, but like sometimes you're just bummed.
Yeah, it's like it's only fun when you catch fish, dude.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's miserable.
It is. Or I mean, the old saying is your worst day of fishing is better than your best day at work, or whatever. Yeah. Something along those lines. And of course, all the boys are swapping fish stories. They're like, Pat, you remember when you caught that 300-pound fucking big eye? You remember Steve's first tuna was 100 pounds? Like, and I was like, when I was 10, I caught fucking 300 bluefish. You know, trying to chirp in. So, like 45 minutes to an hour pass of just like throwing bait off the side of the boat, no music, and it's kind of tense. Like everyone's kind of like, because you're waiting for that first bite.
Right.
Because the thing with tuna season, there isn't really a tuna season. Someone goes out, catches a tuna, and then it's like they're here.
The tunas are here.
And then you go out to like these spots and try to catch more of them. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Dude, it's nuts.
It's a gamble.
It like 100% is a gamble.
Wow.
So, dude, that first hour, I can't tell you. And I'm trying to like break the ice because I'm goofy. Yeah. So I'm like, well, why aren't we listening to like Primus? Like, where's the music? Like, what are we? I was like, let's crack a beer. It's like 5, and my dad's like, just giving me like the stare down. I was like, I'm just trying to have fun, man.
I just thought we were gonna.
But it was like it was tense, and then all of a sudden, you're sitting there throwing bait off the side. People are like trying not to get seasick because you're drifting.
Yeah, you're moving.
You know, and there's 6-foot waves and it's windy, and I'm like, oh man, this is kind of a tense. And there's no land around you. There's no other boats around you. And then all of a sudden, and everyone's fish on, and I just am like. Woo!
Yeah.
Fish on, 2 fish. someone comes up behind you with one of those belts, straps you up, and they're like, "Go, bud, go!" And you just put it like right on your dick, and this thing is spooling, dude. I mean, it's a 65-pound fish that swims at, I don't know, 100 miles per hour, and it's like, woo! And I'm like, I kept saying, I was like, y'all are gonna need to coach me through this, Daddy. Like, I don't know what to do.
It's like, I'm just gonna let it go all the way out.
Well, he was like, let it go until it stops pulling, and then start reeling. But you have to keep a bend in the rod, and then when it starts going again, you have to push it forward, and then so everyone's like, telling me what to do.
You're like, go down, up. What is it, up or down?
Yeah, and I'm like, and they're like, you have to because the line doesn't go across the reel like this, so you have to use your thumb, and you have to also not drop the rod into the water because this fish is strong. So you're doing 10 things at once, and I'm standing away from the side of the boat, and they're like, put your knees into the boat. So I'm like, all right. So I slam my knees into the side of a hard boat, and I'm like, woo!
Yeah, you're like really feeling it.
Yeah, I'm like, oh shit! I'm like, this is fucking gnarly. And then at the same time, another line goes down.
No shit. So you got 2 fish on.
2 fish on right now, and so then it's Carrie. So Carrie runs over, and and the fish are in a school. Yeah. So they're all interweaving with each other. So you have to you gotta
move around each other.
Bro, we're doing this crazy ballet.
It's like fucking goddamn Cirque du Soleil.
Dude, we're doing this crazy ballet on the boat, and at the same time, the mate's like, I need more bait in the water, because when the fish are there, you got to keep them there,
right?
Because they'll dip.
They'll be like, I'm going out.
Yeah. So then the bait boy's sitting there, and which is now at this point probably Mr. Mike, and he's like, I got the bait, and he's throwing bait in, and the captain's got to make sure that the boat's staying on course, and then all of a sudden, third line goes off, because at this point you have 2 lines going at once. So then while 2 are on, the mate's getting a third line ready, and he's tossing it out, and he's like, throw bait when I toss it out. And so you gotta
that's tense,
dude. It's insane, bro. The adrenaline is. At this point, you're fighting a fish, and they're still giving you direction.
And you're looking at other people like, do something. I'm doing all the
work. And they're like, don't break the line. They're like, keep a bend in the line. Don't break don't lose it. And you're like, oh my god.
There's a lot of rules.
Yeah. I was like, dude, there's a lot to fishing that I didn't know about. And then I get my boat or my fish close to the boat. Now when a fish is close to the boat, it gets even more intense because they start doing these circles, and they're like, let it do its circles, but you have to keep the line up like this, and then it swims under the boat, and when it goes under the boat, they're like, you have to dip the rod 90 degrees into the water. So I'm standing over the edge of the boat trying to keep it on the belt, on my pelvis, while going like this, and then you watch it do its circles, and because you can see it at this point, and they're beautiful.
I can imagine.
Oh my god, dude, these fish are majestic creatures. And you're like, oh my god, oh my, and then it shoots off again, so you gotta let it spool, and then you once it stops swimming, you gotta gain a couple, you get 2 feet at a time, and these things are whoosh, and they start doing their circles, and you gotta wait, and you're tired, dude, and you're bleeding, and you're like, oh my god, and everyone's yelling at you, and then at this point, whoosh, the third line goes off, dude. So we had 3 at once. We get ours close to the boat, the boy grabs a gaff, the 4th line goes off, whoosh, so we got 4 fish on at one time, and I'm like, oh, but mine's close to the pier or the boat. And then the boy gets the gaff, and this fish, and you have to hold it up like this, and it's skimming the surface, and it circles close around, and the mate takes the gaff and whoosh, and lifts it up like this. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, and then throws it on the boat. It's
chaos, blood shooting in the face.
And I'm just like, whoa, I got my first tuna. You know,
there's a boy.
And in the meantime, there's 3 other boys fighting one. Yeah. And I'm like,
and then you're telling them put a 90-degree angle on that bitch. take you to reel one of those fuckers in?
That one was probably 40 minutes.
40 minutes of you constantly getting
30
screamed
to
at.
40 minutes, yeah.
It's like you're in the fucking military boot camp, and everyone's like yelling out, "You're a fucking pussy! Bring that bitch in here! You're not letting it run away! That's your fucking food for the night! You're gonna die out here!" And you're like,
and meanwhile,
am I doing it right?
Yeah, and also I'm trying to document this whole thing at the same time.
You're like,
so I'm like pulling out my. They're like, "Put your phone away." I'm like, "No." I'm like, "This is gonna be." I was like, "You guys are gonna love this like a week from now," and so
you need a GoPro next time.
I know. Well, that dude, I'm trying to get like a
body
gang of GoPros, a fucking
a
drone, and like some SLRs, and like offer a service to the people that charter boats. Like, we'll document your whole process. It's gonna be a cool $1,000, but like, you know,
$1,500
to tack on another $1,500, your $3,000 excursion. Yeah. Anyways,
that's killer.
So we get the first 4 fish into the boat. This time, one of the people that brought a fish in immediately got seasick and was kind of done for the rest of the day.
Just done.
Well,
but he brought the fish in though.
Brought the fish in, and dude, so lands the fish.
All good.
Steve goes to give him a fist bump, and my boy runs past Steve and just pukes over the side of the boat. I thought at this moment that he ran into Steve's fist, because I turn around and I see him like with his glasses off, and I was like, "Oh, did you get punched?" And he just goes. But it he heard puke because you can't hear it because the engine's running. It's fucking.
Everyone's screaming.
And also, we're still bringing in 2 more fish.
Jesus Christ!
So Mr. Allen's pulling in a fish. Steven's pulling in a fish. Mr. Al relinquishes the rod to my dad, which thank God, because this fish was the biggest one of the day. It was like 70 pounds.
Fuck.
And so then my dad's fighting it. I'm like taking pictures and vids of my pops getting it, and my dad pulls his fish into the boat. They get the gaff. And my dude immediately, like, it's on film, he just like kind of stumbles away and then just like falls into a seat, and he's like, "I need a fucking water." And I'm filming it, and I'm
Your
like,
dad?
"Yeah," and I'm like, "I think you need a beer."
Yeah.
Well, because at this point, we've already got 4 fish.
That's insane. All within the same hour.
Yes,
is going on.
So now I'm like, okay,
this is tight.
This is fishing.
Is there a limit to how many fish you can catch?
The limit is 3 per angler. So we could have gotten, what's 6 times 3? 18? Yeah, we could have caught 18 fish.
Yeah.
That's a fuckload of fish.
That's a fuckload.
So another, like, that first bite kind of dissipates. We're all like, holy shit. Like, everyone's already like, I mean, we can head back.
Dude, like, I was going to say, like, after, like, wrangling one in, and then all of a sudden, another, like, everyone's reeled one in at that point, and then you're like, dude, another one? Like, I had to do this again?
Well, so it was like a batting order, right? So I was first, Carrie was second, Steve was third, Mr. Allen was fourth. He tapped out. He was like, "I'm good. I'm just going to chill on the boat."
Yeah.
My dad was after him, and then Mr. Mike, and then it would restart.
Okay.
Now, once another one went off, it was Mike's turn. So then only one went off at that point. So we're all just kind of like chilling. Yeah. I'm cracking beers at this point.
Oh, you have to.
Oh, absolutely. I'm like about to go make a sandwich, ham and Swiss on rye with spicy mustard.
Fuck yeah.
Nutty Buddies, sucking natty, but like boat snacks are the shit, bro.
Dude. Boat food and a ham, like a ham and Swiss, you said?
Yeah.
On white bread?
Rye.
Yeah. With spicy mustard?
Oh.
You eat that offshore?
Oh, it's
heinous.
the best.
It's like heinous, right?
Oh, no,
it's not as good. It's not as good
as
as when you got like fish guts in your hand.
Yes, bait.
The smell of the sea in the air, the diesel fuel. You're like, I don't know if I'm having a stroke or if that's diesel fuel.
Exactly.
And you see like there's blood everywhere, and you're like, I didn't even wash my hands, and I made this, you know, and you're just like, it tastes so good.
It's a gnarly game.
Yeah.
So probably like that first bite finished, the captain, like you stay on your course for a little while longer. After like 30 minutes of nothing, he's like, I'm going to reset. Captain, you pull everything in. Captain goes to the wherever like the beginning of the ham bone is, and you reset and then drift back along this coast. At this time, 3 more boats kind of show up around us, and we're like, all right, you know, you're always talking shit. This dude came out in a 17-foot fucking center console, and everyone was like, what a psychopath.
Did he have this? His schlong is huge.
Well, he was out there for maybe an hour, and then headed in. Yeah, I don't think they caught anything, and they just dipped. He was like, "Oh, this is bad," and I was like, "Yeah, no shit, bro. Like, these are gnarly swells out here." So we reset. Another fish on. We're like, at this point, it's just kind of like
shooting fish in a barrel, man.
Well, I mean, you're doing bad work, but like, So then it's top of the order, and it's me again. So I'm pulling in my second fish, and I'm like, woo! Now at this point, the fish is a feisty motherfucker, and it takes up to the front of the boat. First mate is like, hey, like, no one's really allowed to fish off the front of the boat. There's no guardrail.
Oh, so it's like
so he's like walking on like a fucking maybe a foot of whatever boats are made out of.
Yeah, the lip around I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, to get to the boat.
Yeah.
And then he fights it for like maybe 15, 20 minutes and then pulls it back when it's close to the boat and then you land it, which is tight because I was like, I'm not going up there anyway.
So the captain was like, I'll make sure so you still got that same fish.
Oh, yeah. So they,
that's so tight.
I know. Dude, charters are the shit.
Yeah.
The charters are the way to go.
Yeah.
And that's probably why I never went out, because I was like, you guys, like, you only ever come back with, like, 2 fish, and you go out with, like, 6 boys. Like, what do
we do? Like, what am I doing?
Well, so yeah, the first mate, like, brings the fish pretty close to the boat, at least to a point where you're not going to lose it, and then walks the rod back to you, gives it to you, and then you have to land it, which is honestly the hardest part, getting it close, because that's when they start doing their circles, swim under the boat. You got to be fucking 90 degrees, almost fall into the water. So I land my second fish. I'm like, holy shit.
Damn.
Everyone's like, whoo. Whoosh, another one goes off.
Jesus.
We get back through the order probably throughout the day. I mean, there was probably like 2 hours of no action, but at that point, dude, you're so satisfied.
Yeah, you got a little break.
You get a break. You get time for ham and Swiss on a rye with spicy mustard. You drinking more natty bows. Everyone's just chilling. Like you have to sit on the fucking ice box because the fish are like.
Yeah.
And I kept calling it the Ocean City Bull Ride because I'd be the boys and I was like, woo!
Come on in, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah, last 18 seconds on this bitch. So let me ask you this though. Did you guys use Nutty Buddies as bait?
No, but
wouldn't that be tight?
It would be. But the minute, so the captain, I was like in the cabin making my sandwich. Captain comes in for his lunch. He pulls out a pack of hot dogs, throws a hot dog in the microwave, and just eats it like just no bun, nothing. Just a
no condiments.
Dog. Not even a bun, bro.
Not even a bun. Yeah, that's aggressive.
And I was like, but we got. I was like, I love a dirty dog, man. Like hell yeah. And he was like, dogs are the shit. And I was like, dude, the fish are going to start biting again since they smell the fucking hot dog in the air. Lo and behold, whoosh. So Mr. Mike's fighting his second fish. And at that point, like, Captain throws his hot dog. He's like, fish on. And everyone runs outside because you got to, like, be, So all said and done, we're at 9 fish. And, like, at this point, it's probably, like, 11 in the morning. 10:30.
Damn, it's like before lunch.
Yeah, it's before lunch. But we've had a full day.
Yeah.
And we're all satisfied. And Mike goes, I'm going for double digits. And we're like, all right. So another like 30, 40 minute pass. And then whoosh, and I'm back to the top of the batting order. So I get my 3rd fucking tuna.
You reeled it.
First time offshore. I end up fighting this one the whole time. So I get it to the boat, and this is a feisty motherfucker. Not the biggest, but the meanest of the day. And he's doing mad circle to the point where I'm like, and I'm like, everyone coach me. I got 2 boys. I got the captain and Steve Fritch holding me because I'm like exhausted. And the captain keeps looking. He's like, are you good? Like, do you want to give it up? And I was like, no, because apparently, like 2 weeks prior,
someone died.
No, 2 weeks prior, Mr. Mike went out on the Boss Hog. This is how we found out about these guys. And they ended up hooking onto a 12-foot hammerhead shark. And Mr. Mike fought it for 2 hours. 2 fucking hours he fought this 12-foot hammerhead. And he said when we were heading out, he was like, dude, that was the first time I ever had to relinquish the reel. He was like, I had to give it over to somebody because I was done. So that's going in my head while all these boys are like, pass me the rod. I'm pretty sure they wanted to fight this fish because it was a beast. And I was like, I kept going, I'm going to show this motherfucker who's at the top of the food chain.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like,
that's fucking savage.
So, bro, I had this clear image in my head of me holding the rod up like this, like way above my head, trying to get it just close to the surface because this bitch was not giving up the ghost.
Right.
My dad kept saying that. He was like, she's not giving up the ghost. And like, I'm like, get the gaff. And Steve's holding my back like this because I'm like leaning over the side of the boat. Captain Alex is also holding on to like the top of the rod because we're just like trying to have the rod not break, keep the fish close so that the gaff can go in. The mate missed the first gaff, and we're like, fuck. So then no, dude, shouts to John. This fish was a beast. So, like, then you have to restart the process because it shoots back down under the boat. You're back down, and then you finally get it close because you're trying to tire the fish out.
Yeah.
And
it's a matter of who gets tired first.
Exactly. And they're like, are you good? And I'm like, I'm fucking good.
You're crying and shit.
I'm like, get it. Get the fish. He gets the second gaff. We pull this bitch in, and I just, like, collapse. I was like, woo!
Damn, dude.
Number 10, the boys are like...
And you maxed out at that point because you had 3.
I'm maxed out. Yes, I'm 3 per angler. I'm done. I wanted to do some trolling. Like, I just wanted to see what it was like because the fish break the surface of the water.
So the jump, like, they breach.
They breached. My dad was, and like the sound, because the outriggers like pull the lines out.
Yeah.
And when that breaks, when a fish goes off, my dad was like, "Dude, it's like 5 shotguns going off at once." He was like, "I really want you to hear the sound."
Yeah.
We didn't end up trolling. I mean, dude, we had to we had a ratchet strap the ice box down because there were so many fish in it. Because they were big. Well, Alex was like, I mean, I've gotten 18 fish in there before, not of this caliber. These were hefty boys.
Yeah, I mean, if you're rolling in like constantly around like 50-pound fish, dude, and you have to like you said, dude, you're wrangling a 50-pound fish that's able to swim
100 miles per hour.
Like 20-30 miles an hour underwater, like easily, like without problem. And not only that, they don't just swim straight. They're swimming in circles. They're flipping around. They're doing all kinds of crazy acrobatics.
Because they're like, what's
they're like, what's going on? Dude, I'm just swimming, dude. There's free food, dude. I was like, what the fuck, dude? It's like, I was like, what the fuck? And then so you're wrangling this fucker in. And you got all these people screaming at you, and you're just like zoned. Like you're just like, it's like probably like Saving Private Ryan, where everything's like quiet.
100%.
You just hear a lot of mumble, and you're like, just like, and then you're just like, someone just says something, and you're just like, I'm fucking bringing it in, boys. Like, get the fuck off my back, boys. And I'm trying. You're like, I'm doing it. And then you got people like just there, and it's just like, I can't imagine the first of all, the testosterone and the adrenaline.
Oh my god.
That the fucking rush going on as soon as you're pulling that in, and as soon as you see it. Finally see it come close to the water, and you're like, yes, fucker. Like, you're coming out, and I'm eating the fuck out of you, and it's gonna be delicious, and I'm gonna eat your eyeballs and all the shit. You know, I'm making bear stew tonight, boys.
Yeah, you're fucking mine.
And your boy, then the guy comes in with the gaff. So the gaff is a spear, right? It's like a big spear or something.
It's not like a spear, like it's like a spear handle with a hook at the top.
So it hooks.
So you hook into the gills and pull it up.
And pull it up, yeah, because otherwise it probably would snap the line and all that. But I don't know. I don't know anything about that. But so that comes in and just hooks it up and pulls it in, and you see it flapping around, and you're just like, I can't imagine what that feels like to be like that accomplishment. Just seeing this fish and you're just like, holy shit. And like you said, it's like probably the most beautiful thing. You're just like,
dude,
oh my god.
Yeah.
And then
they're dinosaurs. They're 100% dinosaurs,
dude.
And you're just like, wow.
And like you said, most people are getting skunked out there, or like just go out and like they might catch 2.
Yeah.
You guys were reeling in. You reeled in 10.
We got 10 yellowfin tuna, totaling over 520 pounds.
Wow.
Now, so we finish up. Like we're like, okay, we're done, but we don't need to troll. Like we're done. So you head back in. It's a fucking awesome ride back in. Yeah. It's like midday now. It's beautiful out. Yeah. We pull into the marina, which has the bar at it. Yeah. There's like a crowd of people around it because
that's what people. I remember going there with my family, and my mom would take us to the inlet to watch when there was ever like a marlin or whatever kind of like if there was a fish tournament or whatever. Yeah. She would take us down there so we could watch them bring it in. Because you see them like they're hanging the marlin. You're just like, what
the flags, everything.
Yeah, everyone's like pumped.
Yeah, dude. We get back to the marina and there's a crowd and there's a dude with a camera who ended up being a journalist for the Coastal Fisherman.
Tight.
Which is a
magazine, right?
Ocean City, like local publication. Yeah. He like asks all of our names, kind of interviews us for a second. He was like, "I'm gonna shoot to get you guys on the cover," and I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude!" So I've been checking their website every day. Like, where's that?
Where is it at?
And my dad was like, "You're gonna have to drive down to Ocean City to grab a copy," and I was like, "I'll do that in a heartbeat, bro."
Yeah. As soon as I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we get there. I mean, it's just like Mr. Mike's like head. He looks at me and he's like, "I feel this big." he lives for that shit, so he's like pumped.
That's cool as fuck.
It's awesome for the Boss Hog because people are like, "Oh, I want those boys." Like it's like great.
They know what they're doing.
Great
they know the hot spot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was just sick. And then you got to go get the fish cleaned, and you're sitting there smoking cigars, drinking fucking beers. Yeah. People were talking. They're like, "Good day, huh?" And you know, like, and you're like,
"Nah, man. Yeah, we could have got more. Sorry."
Bro, so it's 60 cents a pound for them to fillet your fish for you. So we ended up paying like $300 to get the fish
like,
cleaned.
Damn, dude. Like, all right.
But they've got a big like trash can on the scale. So you can see they throw a fish in, and it's like, well, 60 pounds. And they throw another fish in, 130 pounds. So, like, you can kind of weigh each one while that. So every single one was over 55 pounds.
Just me and the boys. Just me and the boys. Just me and the boys. Just me and the boys.
Let's go. Let's go. Like, first day ever offshore fishing. 10 tunas. All at least 50 pounds? Come on!
Tyler caught 3. I caught 2. I caught 2. You got the last one.
No, Alan Dad split the first.
I checked out.
Hey, you gave it a good hard fight. You tired it out.
I was leaning against one. Well, some are rough too, so you're really like in the back of the boat, you're trying to stay up, you have to brace yourself.
Oh, we get a couple 6-foot waves.
Oh, yeah, I got 3 of those in the country.
10-foot waves. Gary got the second fish. Gary and I were hooked up at the same time. Well, 4 went down at once, and it was like insane. Yeah.
And we're 4 at the same time in our first little bite.
It was
Yep.
Boss hog. Now rewind to when we were out there. There was a couple times in between not catching a big bite and then not having anything, where a school of 15 dolphin came up to the boat.
Whoa!
And I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. This is like dolphin. We have dolphins. So everyone's like, whoa, dolphin. The captain goes, what color are they? And I go, they're brown. And he goes, fuck, those are the bad dolphins.
What?
I didn't know
gay dolphins.
Yeah, I didn't know there were bad dolphins. He was like, those motherfuckers will jump in the boat. They've been eating all of our bait. That's why we're not catching tuna right now. He was like, we have to dip. So we pulled all the lines in. Lo and behold, there's no bait on the end of any of the hooks.
Of course, yeah.
The dolphins are like ass, gnat's ass close to the boat. And he was like, they will jump into the boat. We have to go. And I'm like, oh, shit. So we dip from them. They start chasing us.
No shit.
Yeah. I wish I didn't get any pictures of this because it was kind of chaos. Yeah. And I was like, oh, we got to get away from the dolphin.
Yeah, I don't want to get jumped on.
Yeah, apparently the blue ones are the good ones, the ones that everyone knows, but the brown bottlenose boats are evil. So then we dip out away from the dolphins, and then the next thing we do, someone goes, is that a fucking shark? And you look at it and you see this fin breach the water, and I was like, oh, tight, we got sharks. Tight. Dude, 15 manta ray, like a school of manta ray.
Tight.
Well, beautiful to see. And
again, not tight.
But Alex is like, he goes as long as we don't hook into one, that's good. Tuna do swim with manta rays, so we were like, okay, we know there's tuna here. Yeah. Immediately, whoosh, and he goes, fuck. He knows it's a manta ray. Yeah. Because he sets the line and it's a little heavier. It just feels like he's like different. And then the manta ray somehow spit out the hook. I don't know, but this is the funny part of this story is 30 years ago, my dad was fighting something for 2 hours that he was convinced was a white marlin. Now, he's never caught a white marlin up until this week. He just got back. As soon as we got back from Ocean City, he went down to Florida to go fish with his buddy Jim. Caught a white marlin. So white whale, he conquered Moby Dick. Yeah. He texted me a picture of it. He was like, bud, I'm never going to have a better week of fishing in my life. This is better than when you guys were born.
Yeah.
To be
this is my son now.
Yeah, exactly. But so Mr. Mike goes, Pat, that is exactly what I saw because they cut that line that day when my dad was convinced he was fighting a white marlin. White marlins breach the water and jump. Yeah. And that never happened throughout these 2 hours. My dad was convinced it was a white marlin. Mike was like, dude, that's what I saw. Forgive me now. And my dad goes, Mike, after 30 years, I finally believe you. I was like, dude,
he's been holding on.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's got their fishtails. That was it. He was like, nah. He was like, I fought a marlin for 2 hours, and Mike cut the line because he saw a fucking manta ray. And Mike was like, it was a manta ray. So my dad was like, I finally believe you, bud. Yeah. So. All right, now fast forward. That was the wildlife that we saw at the Hambo.
Okay.
Like a school of dolphins that were bad.
Bad dolphins.
Bad dolphins, and then a school of manta ray, which was tight. But immediately, as soon as the manta ray spit that bait out, and Captain Alex was reeling the line back in, the other one went off, and we go, that's definitely a tuna. Yeah. So that's number 7 or whatever that we caught.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was tight.
So you guys get back. You're getting the fucking tunas. You're
they're getting cut.
The big cock of the walk on the fucking dock. You had to dump them out and be like, oh man, sorry, we're gonna need a bigger dock. You start. Then the dad jokes are rolling out everywhere.
Absolutely.
And then all the guys are calling out, oh, you save any for anybody else out there? Like that.
Good day, huh?
Yeah. Oh, you didn't have to catch all of them. Yeah, fucking mother, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're sitting there, you're rewarding yourselves. You're watching your fish get fucking cut up and just filleted into beautiful steaks and whatever the fuck they cut it into.
No one had a cooler big enough for it. We all had to buy second coolers.
That's badass, dude. That's God forbid.
I know.
And then you're sitting there smoking a cigar and you're just there and you see the fucking fruits of your labor. You're just like, I fucking worked my ass off for all that.
It was. I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Pun fully intended.
Good. I would love to go, but I just I can't. Is the max you can do 6 people?
Yes.
Fuck. I was like, maybe we get 10 boys, or just told 10 boys and then they kind of dipped on them. Dipped on 4 of them.
Yeah.
And just be like, yeah, we're gonna leave it at 5:30, and then they're like, where's everybody at?
Yeah, dip at 3.
Yeah, and your phone doesn't work out there. You're
no,
sorry,
fuck
man. You're like, shit, it sucks, man. Should have been there.
Yeah, it was tight.